Hi everybody, and welcome to Movie Recaps with Brit. Today, we will be looking at a movie titled Jailbreak Pact. Without further ado, let's get started. The ongoing film depicts an actual incident that occurred in Chile during the 1990s. In the final years of the military rule, numerous demonstrators were confined to a correctional facility located in Santiago. The law enforcement authorities categorized them as militants and subjected them to harsh treatment while escorting them to their prison cells. Andrade, the commanding general, is a ruthless individual who intends to deliver a harsh message to the detainees. Inspector Braulio assembles the prisoners to provide them with an orientation on the existence they will lead going forward. As their confinement is covered under anti-terrorist legislation, they will be under constant surveillance, and any attempt to disseminate propaganda will result in the death penalty. Within the prison population, there is a faction of 5 protesters led by Leon, who have devised a scheme to flee the facility. Today marks the day they will select their cells and commence the execution of their plan. Leon hastily ascends to the second level to claim cell 50, which directly aligns with the lower cell that will serve as the entryway to their tunnel. However, upon arrival, he discovers that cell 50 is already occupied and must opt for cell 51 as a substitute in accordance with their strategy. Despite the askew orientation of the room, the team currently has other concerns to attend to. The detainees adapt to their new surroundings, with some engaging in leisure activities such as carpeting, culinary arts, vocalizing, and the like. During the hour-long recess, Leon, Raphael, and German confer about their escape strategy. Leon, an architect by profession, serves as the chief architect of the mission. He possesses knowledge that a few meters beyond the prison walls is the Mapocho River, surrounded by palm trees. The distance of the tunnel can be measured by the number of steps taken, with every 2 strides accounting for 5 feet. This implies that the tunnel will span roughly 70 meters in length. However, to construct a tunnel of this magnitude, they will have to displace approximately 60 tons of earth. The predicament remains regarding where to dispose of the soil without raising suspicion from the guards. While the trio contemplates their strategy, an inmate named Paulo observes their discussion. Later, he approaches Raphael and expresses his interest in joining their initiative. The group accepts him into their circle, as they deem him trustworthy. In the ensuing scene, they are situated in the ground floor cell, which serves as the entryway to the tunnel. Their first course of action is to breach the wall and mold the debris into a block. By doing so, they can conceal the aperture by replacing it with the block when they are not toiling away on the tunnel. Subsequently, Leon scours the vicinity for a location to stash the enormous volume of soil. A musician overhears their discussion and proffers Leon a screwdriver. As a result, he is integrated into the escape plot. Leon spends the following days using the tool to carve a square-shaped opening in the ceiling. The team must minimize the commotion generated by the excavation, even though the musician is situated outside the cell strumming his guitar to muffle the noise. With the final blow, 2 lumps of concrete dislodge from the ceiling and scatter across the floor. In response, Leon swiftly implores his cohorts to fetch eggs and lime to forge a concoction that will resemble a block to seal the opening. The team allocates the duties amongst themselves and gets to work. However, in that moment, the guitarist sings a specific tune indicating that the guards are conducting an unanticipated inspection. Leon inspects the opening and is satisfied to note that the attic space can store an ample amount of soil. Following that, he fabricates the block just in time and camouflages it with a poster of a woman. When the guards scrutinize the cell, they don't pay much attention to the posters. As the guard attempts to remove the poster, he decides against it due to his fear of damaging the picture. The prisoners have now been in the jail for 34 days, and it happens to be a day for visitors. Relatives are permitted to meet with the inmates for a limited time. Raphael has a chance to spend time with his wife, but they end up having an argument since she did not bring their children. After the meeting, the group continues working on improving the block to conceal the tunnel entrance. They achieve this by filling a wooden box with cement, ensuring that it won't draw any suspicion from the guards. Once the block is complete, they begin hammering away at the wall that will serve as the tunnel opening. The team fills the cell with cement residue as they hear news of the inspector's arrival. They hastily clean up the mess and feign work, breathing a sigh of relief as the guard moves on without suspicion. To further ensure their safety, Leon cranks up a radio to muffle the sounds of their hammering. They continue to chip away at the wall until it's wide enough to insert the block they've prepared, smoothing it out to blend in seamlessly. The excess soil is then stowed away in a bag and hidden in cell 51's ceiling loft, a spot well beyond the guards' usual scrutiny. The team takes turns digging the tunnel over the next few days, with the guitarist keeping watch outside the cell for any suspicious activity. The group diligently collects the soil remnants each day, carefully segregating them into various bags. They transport these bags to the upper floor and dump them on the loft. Next, they use cement blocks to conceal the holes and ensure that they remain undetected. Despite their efforts to maintain a low profile, a sharp-witted prisoner named Oscar notices their suspiciously consistent routine. Meanwhile, on the 7th day of their confinement, Leon measures the length of the tunnel they have been excavating so far. He feels discouraged as he realizes that they don't have enough resources to complete the task in a reasonable amount of time. This leaves them vulnerable to getting caught by the guards. Leon recognizes that they need more help. Later that day, German is tasked with carrying soil to the upper floor as part of their routine. However, he is stopped by a guard who demands to see what's in the bag. German nervously opens the bag, but the soil is concealed beneath his personal belongings. The guard asks him to go to the office, and German hides the bag before complying. In the office, the guard offers German nude magazines in exchange for money. German breathes a sigh of relief and is grateful that the guard didn't discover the bag's contents. The next scene shows the trio continuing to excavate the tunnel while listening to the radio news. They hear that the Chilean people have overthrown the dictatorship and embraced democracy, which is distressing for them since they don't believe in it. Instead, the news motivates them to work even harder to escape and take back control before their leader loses hope. Leon calls together the prisoners who are awaiting the death penalty on day 86 and shows them the progress they have made on the tunnel. He outlines the plan to them in detail, and the group is eager to join the effort. Because working at night would be too loud, they begin to work in 2-hour shifts during the day, taking great care to avoid detection. They take even the smallest measures, such as washing the dirt off their hands and bodies after each shift, and have people outside the cells watching for any suspicious activity. The team devises new methods to expedite their progress, such as creating a hole between the ground and first floor to avoid using the stairs for dirt transfer, which would be more noticeable. As they approach the end of the tunnel, they remain social with other prisoners, participating in breaks, playing games, and watching TV as to not arouse suspicion. During a football match, Oscar admits to Raphael that he's aware of their plan. Despite being rumored to be a snitch, Leon decides to include Oscar in their team. German confides in Raphael that even if they successfully build the tunnel, they can't escape without outside help. Some of their comrades from the political party are still free, and if they could send them a message, they might be able to aid in their escape. On day 182, Raphael's wife visits him and he shares the plan with her, asking her to inform their party. She takes her time to think about it after the meeting. Then, on day 205, work is in progress, and the guitarist is inside the tunnel when a surprise inspection by the entire police force takes place. Leon swiftly informs everyone about the police surprise check, but it will take some time to clean up and rescue the guitarist from the tunnel. Some prisoners help the guitarist while others go outside to distract the police. Raphael provokes the police, sparking a fight between them and the prisoners, giving the guitarist enough time to escape and seal the tunnel. However, when the guitarist emerges, the police have already subdued the prisoners and taken them outside, forcing them to endure the scorching sun with no clothes. Meanwhile, Raphael's wife visits the party's headquarters to share the escape plan with them. Despite being discouraged by the party, Raphael's wife refuses to give up and seeks help from Leon's father, German's wife, and Raphael's old associate at a church. They agree to support the escape plan and do whatever they can from the outside. The story then jumps to day 392, where a man working in the tunnel suddenly collapses due to the lack of oxygen caused by the tunnel's depth. Thankfully, his friend quickly drags him out to safety.s. To address the issue of the tunnel's lack of oxygen, they bring in a carpenter to join the team. He devises a tube and fan system that can circulate air to the tunnel's deepest recesses. Meanwhile, a cunning man named Bigoty is introduced. The commander gives him a pack of cigarettes in exchange for information on each prisoner's activities. Later on, Raphael discovers that the tunnel has breached the prison's boundaries. He drills a hole in the ground and expels a pink liquid, which is detected by his accomplice who is aiding in the escape. During the next visitor's day, Leon's father informs him that the liquid is still 40 meters shy of their intended tunnel exit point. On day 558, a sudden earthquake strikes the city. Without hesitation, Leon rushes inside the tunnel to ensure the safety of the person inside. Thankfully, everyone emerges unscathed and the tunnel remains intact. During his time in the prison, Leon has developed a strong bond with a fellow prisoner who is confined to a wheelchair. He shares the escape plan with the man, but he declines the offer, acknowledging that his physical limitations would prevent him from making it through the tunnel. At last, the day arrives for the final phase of their meticulously planned escape. As the weekly nighttime entertainment plays on the TV, one by one, the prisoners quietly slip out of the room unnoticed. The show is not very interesting, so no one suspects anything. Leon stands outside the tunnel's entrance, ensuring that all 50 prisoners have successfully made their escape. With about 50 people involved, they must trust each other to follow in the right order. However, Bigoty soon realizes that the prisoners are missing and heads outside to investigate. Despite the wheelchair-bound prisoners' attempts to stop him, Bigotty makes his way to the cell, only to find that all the prisoners have already entered the tunnel except for Oscar. Although Bigot intends to alert the police, Oscar stops him and a scuffle ensues. Bigotty stabs Oscar with a screwdriver, but Oscar is able to take him out. Yet his injury prevents him from joining the others. To ensure that everyone gets out safely, the remaining 49 prisoners patiently queue up inside the tunnel, anticipating the other end to be opened by their outside accomplices. Finally, Raphael's friend opens the other end and they all make their way out one by one. In advance of their escape, Raphael's wife has already arranged for a change of clothes for each of them. After changing, they hide by the river, waiting for their ride to come. They don't waste any time and board the bus immediately, but German becomes worried about Oscar and asks them to wait while he goes to look for him. Back at the prison, other inmates become aware of the tunnel and decide to take advantage of it, entering the tunnel themselves. The police reinforcements finally arrive and round up the remaining prisoners. Inside the bus, the sound of sirens can be heard in the distance, causing them to leave without German and Oscar. As they drive away, German arrives and reveals that Oscar never made it out of the tunnel. Despite not being able to return to check on him, they continue their escape. Some other prisoners are successful in escaping, but most are caught and pulled out of the tunnel. Meanwhile, Oscar is shown in his cell crying and blaming his fate. The commander is informed of the news and becomes unhinged. On the bus, the escapees are provided with fake IDs and cash. After successfully escaping the prison, the group of 49 prisoners is transported to different locations in groups of 3 in another city. Leon parts ways with Raphael and sets off to begin a new life. This marks the end of an 18-month-long excavation project that led to the escape of 49 prisoners from a heavily guarded prison in 1990. Thank you for watching our movie recap. While it may seem simple, it actually took a lot of hard work and dedication to produce. If you enjoyed the video, we kindly ask you to show your support by liking and subscribing to our channel. By doing so, you'll stay updated on our latest content and help us continue creating more in-depth analyses and critiques of the movies you love. Thank you again for your support.